Oh, welcome, welcome. Okay, you got your peoples with you. Shout out to your people. The divine feminine in the house. Divine feminine representing for the angels in politics, white collar goon, creative and artistic, and leadership and development. Okay, you have risen and attained that title. Then we have the big homie, the OG. Been in the game for multi generations, multiple generations, and has seen a lot, has felt a lot, can speak on a lot. Shout out to the big homie. Oh yeah, I'm glad you're here too. I know it's been a minute. You're about to actually make a move. Am I correct? Yeah, I'm gonna actually spend some time with the nephew, and we'll be doing our thing, and we'll be growing, developing, of course, augmenting, evaluating, interpreting, going into the deep analytics to really start and cultivate his process, even at the age of before he's even 2 years old. So we're gonna get him into that system of synthesis, system of synchronicity, and a system of sequence. Wow, that sounds great. Divine Feminine, what do you have for us? Um, Actually, I'm pretty much still doing my thing. I've woken up this morning, I meditated, I read the word, I really got into the word. Um, I spent some time on the floor. Like there is a song where they say like hit the floor or girls get it on the floor or something about like dropping whatever it is on the floor. But I believe they're talking about our face. I believe as young women or as young individuals, because we're not being gender specific, we need to just humble ourselves radically so. Like, put your face on the floor and give praise every single day. Uh, Radically so. I mean, be transparent about it. Say thanks. Say thank you. And just and I'm not and don't do it just because like me the divine feminine and I'm saying that because I have a beautiful dress and it shows my femininity and it shows the bright colors and it shows that I'm attractive and you see that my skin is glowing and you see that my hair is long and I might fit a certain or specific archetype that you may or may not be somewhat keen on. But I'm saying this because I really want you to grow spiritually. I really want you to develop spiritually. I really want you to transform on multiple levels, multiple fronts. Well, thank you, granddaughter, because I mean, like, I really, well, I know how you can get, and I know how passionate you are. I know how passionate you are about like the process. Um, I kind of wanted just to. Oh shit, my homie. Oh, grandson. I didn't even know you were out here making appearances. Shout out to the grandson. Shout out to the grandson. White collar. Heard you had grandsons. You had grandsons. You had grandsons. Um, no. All right. Shout out, big homie. I actually was about to like speak you up. Damn, you just pulled up on me at the same time. Shout out to the grandson. Shout out to the grandson. Divine masculine out here. I was actually going to speak on that updated system that I was kind of throwing out or tampering with before, but it's RWS. And you might say, RWS, are you talking about racism, white supremacy? And I'm like, no. I mean, we know that's existing. We know that's the system. Don't worry, we've already beat that. What we're talking about is reading, writing, speaking. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Get yourself comfortable. Your legs are tingling. Your legs are tingling and your body is telling you what. Reading is something that we've been lacking amongst, I was telling you, my culture, but what about yours? What about the future generations? Like, there are so many clues that the creator, that the omnipresent, that the all-knowing, that your God has given you every single day that you wake up. But are you reading them? Are you in sync with the information? Are you tapped in? Is there a system? Like, are you literally picking up the newspaper? Are you literally going and turning over the stones and going into the bookstore, going into the library, going into the, you don't even have to pay for it. Just go in and look through them. It's in the text. It's in the text. Whatever you wanted, it was in the text. Whatever you wanted, it's already been written. OG, tell him, brother, it's already been written. It's already been written. The reason why I'm so turned up is because I said read it first. Read what you want. The future is here. My grandchildren are here. They told you that optimization has been the normalcy. Productivity, efficiency, effectiveness, triangulating your competence, your intelligence, your industriousness, synthesizing that with your intuitiveness, with your social IQ, with your emotional IQ, with your transparency, with the fact that you've been giving, the fact that you've been sowing yourself into the spiritual markets. What are the spiritual markets? What are the ABCs? Altruism, benevolence, caring, compassion, carefully listening. Oh my gosh, you're listening now. Not because I'm saying so, because you want to do this. Once you have opened yourself to the markets, you'll realize, oh my gosh, you're giving me so much. It is in the books. Then I started writing it down. I'm not saying you have to write a dissertation. I'm not saying you have to write Finnegan's Wake. I'm not saying you have to write the Holy Bible or the Quran. I'm not saying you have to write it. It's already been written. It's already been written. I'm saying write down your personal goals, your personal affirmations. What did you want? Wake up in the morning and realize everything that you wanted has been granted. Prepare your vessel, because blessings and miracles will be raining from the sky in multitude. And in such a multitude, you won't be able to receive it all. You won't be able to receive all of it. Have you had your meal? Have you had your breakfast? Oh, you're still on your fast? Okay. Like, literally, write it down. I have personal affirmations on my window, on my fucking mirror. You are the news. Who do you think I'm writing that for? I already knew it. I'm writing that for you. I'm telling you that you are the news. You don't need to go into, you don't need to see CBS. You don't need to see CNN. You don't need to see Fox. You don't need to, I mean, you can. I mean, you can. But you're the news. You're more important than them. You're a bigger entity than them. You're a bigger conglomerate than them. Spiritually, you're whole. Spiritually, you're cultivating. Spiritually, you're enhancing. Read it. Write it down. What are your dreams? Somebody says, I don't really have dreams. Well, if you woke up with something and if you woke up with a dream and you can retain that dream, you can speak that dream, you can remember that dream, then that was more than a dream. That was a message. You received the message. Write that down. Write that down. You might be reading something. You might say, I don't really know that word. Highlight that word. You write that down. Write that down. You might find something that you heard via the television, via the film, via the anime, via the comic book, via the conversation that you overheard when you were ear hustling, or whilst you were just out there hitting your tree, or when you were just synthesizing with nature, or when you were going on your run, or when you were at your spin cycle class, or when you were at your soul cycle class, or you were at your dance class, or you were at your ballerina class, or you were at your tech and engineering meetup, or you were at your think tank, or you were at your... Read it. Write it. Then you go to the last, that last pillar, that foundational pillar, then grandson, then granddaughter, then you listen to the OG and tell them, that's why you speak with such passion. That's why you speak with such spirit. Is it because of the markets? Is it because of the hot water? Is it because of the apple cider vinegar that you were just drinking straight from the fucking bottle Is it the fact that you had the affirmation that said your action has to match your ambition? You just can't chat the shit all the time. You just can't talk about your grandchildren and not put them on. You can't talk about your children and not give them the infrastructure. You can't talk about you love your children or your grandchildren or your family or your meaningful relationships. You haven't told them about real estate. You haven't invested in a self-directed IRA. You haven't given them the Roth. You haven't shown them the Roth. You don't talk to them about IRAs. You haven't talked to them about self-empowerment. You haven't talked to them about meditation. You haven't shown them. You haven't given them the tools. You haven't given that to them. You have to train up your children. When they're 16, they should be already handling the real estate. When they are 14, they should already have their business plan and they are operating their business. When you are 12, you've already talked to your daughters about, listen, this is what's going to go down. You're going into some changes. You've been given the gift. You have the universal gift. You have a gift that will transform life as we know it. But because of that gift, there's going to be a lot of attention. There's going to be a lot of guys. There's going to be a lot of things coming your way. And there's going to be people, mostly men, that are going to try to stick things inside of you. And you better learn how to utilize that gift. You better work on that gift. You better work on your decision making the same way that I would tell homie. You better make sure you make the right decision. You better start reading the right things. You better start writing the right things. You better start speaking the right things into existence, because that's your programming. Homie, that's your programming. Homegirl, that's your programming. You're going to start applying that. Everything that you do, you're applying that. Everything that you see, you're applying that. Anytime that you're being political, anytime that you're interacting, you're interfacing. So that's application, that's programming, that's interface, that's API. That's application, that's programming, that's interface. That's competence, that's intelligence, that's industriousness. That's spirit, that's mind, body, and soul. That's reading, that's writing, that's speaking.